Welcome to my channel. We've got the 630 here, and I told you I was going to do another video as soon as I solved some of the problems with this bike, which I did. The main problem with this bike was the fact that there was cable pull brakes on it. You've got two wheels in the front that has independent braking on it. So when you hit the front brake, if they did not brake exactly at the same time, you had a pull. It could pull to one side or the other. Sometimes it would actually go pull back and forth. It did different things because you can never adjust cable pull brakes perfectly. Hydraulic brakes, on the other hand, when you pull a lever back, it's equal amount of pressure to each cylinders. So we've got, this thing's straight line when you're stopping now, and it's got awesome stopping power. Put the hydraulic in the back also. The other thing I did to this bike to take that oversensitive steering, you've got oversensitive steering on this because you've got two tires contacting the ground, which is sending twice the feedback up to your handlebars. So it seemed super sensitive. I was just afraid I was going to look off, look at something to the side of the road, come back, notice a stick in the road, jerk the thing, and I would end up having a problem. So it kind of scared me to do that. So what I did was I put a Cane Creek Hellbender bearing in this thing, which is a steering dampener bearing. It's an adjustable bearing. It comes set in the middle. I left it in the middle. It's perfect for this bike. This bike rides awesome now. It's a blaster ride. I can't even tell you. It rides more like a conventional bike than it does a trike, but it's super fun to ride, guys. The other thing I did to this thing was change out the seat. The seat that was on it was awesome. I was so happy the guy gave me the one with the backrest on it, but every one of my trikes with the backrest makes me feel like I'm getting pushed off. I don't like that. So I ended up changing it to this seat. Unfortunately, this seat doesn't quite match the grips on the front, but whatever, I don't notice it when I'm sitting on it, so it's fine. The other thing I did to this bike, I changed out the crank on this bike to a 53 tooth because this thing was ghost pedaling because I have this bike unlocked. This bike will do 25 miles an hour now. It comes from the factory set at, I believe, 14 or 15, but this thing will do 25 now. The other thing I did on the freewheel is I put an 11 tooth on that. Same top gear as far as your low gear goes, but on your high gear, I put an 11 tooth on that thing, so now it doesn't ghost pedal at 25 miles an hour. The other thing I did with this bike, because now we can get out, we can ride this thing, and we're going to do some distance. Anybody that watches me knows that a 20-mile ride is a short ride. I'm not going to get 20 miles out of this 10 amp hour battery on this bike because I got all these hills that I'm going up and down all the time. I probably just about get 10 miles out of it, 15 tops maybe. What I ended up doing is there's a 20 amp hour battery in this, so I'm running 30 amp hours of battery in this. This battery pack here I use from bike to bike to add another 20 amp hours on each one of my bikes. I put ports into the bike so that I can plug this thing right in. I can unplug it, put it on another bike. This bike will function with its single battery on it, no problem. So that's what else I did to this. This bike now, like I said, top notch. It's a rider, and I'm having fun with it. And all right, guys, I want to show you these hydraulic brakes here. So these brakes have the parking levers on it. All you got to do is hit that thing there, just release it, piece of cake. This side, the same thing, hit the button, let it go to release it. So these are the hydraulic brakes. Come down, I had to put them all in. I did have to wire them in, do some soldering in there to get them to work, but they do cancel the motor. Down here, there's a mixer here, and then they go out to each brake here. I left the same rotors on the bike. So these are the brakes here. These are hydraulic again. I ran the cables the same way they were, but these are now hydraulic on both sides, and they work evenly. They're really nice. This is the Cane Creek bearing I put in here. Again, this is the Hellbender 70 Visco. And this is a steering dampener bearing, and that made a big difference. And like I said, you can put that in about 5 minutes. Here's that crank that I put on. It's a 53 tooth crank, so it didn't really change much on the bike other than the guards missing, and this thing is bigger, but I do not ghost pedal with it, which is great. And then I put this new freewheel on here, and it's got an 11 on the bottom, and I don't know, 28 or something on the top. Not sure what it was. but it was relatively easy to do. Put this battery pack on here. It's wired, goes down in here. I had to wire it in. All right, guys, this is the wiring. There is two wire cables inside of this. So what we're doing is we're bringing the wire up from the controller into this battery balancer and then back down to the motor on that. So we're adding in the second battery here. I could take this connector here and connect it into there, take this wire right out of here, and that way there it'll run off of just this battery alone. Right now it's set up to run off of both batteries, and the second battery is in here. It's a 20 amp hour battery, so you do have to charge both batteries individually, but now we're sitting with 30 amp hours on this bike and it runs out just fine. So the other thing I did was, like I said, put the seat on. So that's an option. I know he does have a seat online that you could get off of him that would match the handles, and that's probably what I should have done. I just want to show you that XT90 connector that I have down there. So this way here, when it's connected like that, it runs just on the battery on the bike. And when you disconnect that and connect it into my battery pack, that gives you the extra 20 amp hours of power. So this is how you run it on the factory battery, and then, like I said, you disconnect it and connect those to the extra battery pack to give you the extra power. All right, guys, we got this thing in gear 5, gear 7 now. We're going along. I still got a lot of pedal here, and I'm presently knocking it up into past 5. So we're going to get going here. We're at 18 miles an hour, 21, 22, 23, 24, and slowing it down with no problem at all, guys. So that's the beauty of, again, this bike is very nimble now. I like it. It can handle, we're at 25 miles an hour right now, and no problems, guys. 24 miles an hour, and we're zipping right along here. So this thing is super solid right now. Like I said, I got no worries with this thing. I don't mind doing anything with this. The steering's not super sensitive or anything like that. I can drive it with one hand comfortably now. I don't have a problem with that. I would never drive it with one hand before the way it was. It's too scary. All right, guys, we're at 17 miles an hour, 18, and I'm hitting that front brake with one hand. That's how much I trust it now with hydraulic brakes on it. Down the road we go. We're at 25 miles an hour, 26 miles an hour. No problems, guys, no problems at all. Like I said, I don't have a problem with this. I don't have a problem going on a corner. Now that I've got that larger crank on it, I actually got to shift some gears. So we can ride this thing a long ways because we got 30 amp hours of battery on this thing now. So here we are headed down the hill, 21, 22 miles an hour, hitting the front brakes, not a problem. Does not shake out of my hands. It's not bad at all. We'll go around this circle here. Pulling back out. Headed out. Up in the 7th gear again. Flying right along at 25 miles an hour. Around the corner. I'll go around this corner with one hand. You know why? I trust this bike now. And going down this road, wiggling around. 24 miles an hour. Around these grates, not a problem, guys. You hit the throttle, same thing. We're throttling now. We're throttling at 23 miles an hour. 24.5 miles an hour on throttle, guys. Weaving around here, not a problem. Going up a pretty good hill now, and sucks us right up this hill. Coming to a stop sign, looking around, headed on out. Dropping some gears, headed on down. We're at 25 miles an hour, just starting to pedal fast now, but that ain't bad, guys. I can live with that. It's about the same as every other bike. Of course, the gear ratio is the same, but we're running some pretty small tires here. We're running 16s on this. Just pedaled up the hill in 7th gear. This thing's pretty nimble too. This bike is probably the nimblest trike I got because of the geometry of it. And we can go pretty much anywhere a regular bike can go, I feel, with this bike. Like I said, this thing rides pretty darn good now. I'm happy with what I did. This thing rides nice now, like I said. Hopefully the angle of the, I wanted you guys to be able to watch me pedal and watch me ride this bike and see how it corners. And a lot of barbecues going on because it's the 4th of July. Smells pretty good. So yeah, if I could cure the fender rattling here, I'd be really happy. A lot of people just say take them off, but I don't want to be eating rocks either, so we'll figure out something to do with them. I think some more heavy-duty brackets might help. I mean, these are pretty heavy brackets, but they might not be quite heavy enough. Like I said, this bike is a runner now. We can run this sucker on throttle too, no problem. We got plenty of battery now with 30 amp hours of battery. We are traveling at 28 miles an hour we hit coming down that hill. And I would have felt a little worried before, but not anymore. Yeah, this thing, like I said, is a good rider now, that's for sure. We're going to be doing some rides on this thing for sure. I'm going to try just throttling out here for a while, enjoying the cool air. But I did want to take you guys out and show you this thing riding around. So this bike, we're traveling at 25.5 miles an hour right now. I feel very comfortable at this speed. I'm not worried about it a bit anymore. This bike is a good rider. Coming in the driveway at 19, 20 miles an hour, we're gonna hit the brakes pretty hard, guys. Look at that, nice and controlled. So hit that subscribe button, hit that like button on the way out, and thanks guys for watching.